Welcome to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin.
And today we are doing Booker's 2019 Q3, which is Country Ham.
Country Ham. I had hoped that Country Ham was the name of somebody from Booker's life. I was highly disappointed when I went to read the background of it. Well, highly disappointed is probably an overstatement. I was slightly disappointed. I really wanted to find out who Country Ham was, if it was a person.
It was a cousin's nickname.
I totally thought it was. It's not. Apparently, Booker was a huge, not only did he have a love and a passion for distilling really good whiskey.
Bourbon.
Which is a whiskey. He also had a huge passion for smoking ham and making country ham.
I can appreciate that. I'd love some ham.
I agree. I mean, there's not most pork products.
Who doesn't love
I don't
pork?
have. I love most pork products. A good pork belly there's most pork products. I'm a big fan of. So that was not on the estate, on the Booker's estate, in his property. He actually had a house where he'd hang 60-ish hams to just smoke, age, wrap them in paper, let them age out, and it was a secondary obsession. So not only was he totally obsessed with, trying to figure out different distillates and all that kind of stuff for Jim Beam, but he was totally obsessed with what he was going to do with some ham.
I love some ham. Love some ham. It's a tradition for our family on Christmas is to do ham biscuits. Ooh. My wife and her family are from Virginia, so that's a tradition over there. The Virginia ham. So every Christmas morning you get your big mug of coffee, you get your plate full of ham biscuits, and you settle in for opening presents. So I can appreciate his love for ham.
He's a good man. We've discussed this a handful of times. They're very selective on how they do this. Let's see. It is, hold on, let's grab the card. But I want to say this one's only 3 different combinations.
I know it's 364 barrels.
Yes, 364 barrels. But there's only 3 different combinations. So we've got 50% come from the 7th floor of warehouse H, 5% comes from the 3rd floor of warehouse P, and 44% comes from the 4th floor of warehouse P. Not really sure what the difference between the 3rd and the 4th, but
heat.
Yeah, some slight difference there. 124.7 proof. So just over 62% alcohol. This was the rumor. This was the best of last year's releases. So of the 4 releases, Country Ham was kind of the one that got the best reviews and the most notoriety. I really enjoyed it. This is definitely one that I've had a few pours out of and very much enjoy the notes that you get from it. 124 is not crazy. I'm going to go a little heavier on that one. Just for fun.
Just for fun.
It's 124.
I get it. You get a little on the nose. The proof.
Oh, I'm sure. I have no doubt that 124 is going to at least slide through on the nose a little bit stronger. The other interesting part, the Booker's line. This is not something I did know until I started looking up for this one in particular. It all started as these were Christmas presents.
I love that.
Like he just was like, oh, I'm going to grab a handful of barrels, blend them together, and he would sometimes just pour it straight from the barrel into a bottle, and here you go, Merry Christmas. That's kind of cool.
If you showed up with that, I'd be happy.
Oh yeah. Merry Christmas, Eric. Yes, that has a little bit of the ethanol note to it to start with. So I'm gonna back off that just a little bit.
Whew. Very sweet.
That was one of the things. So that's the other fun part as a nod to Country Ham. You know when you take the brown sugar and you really get it on the outside of the Country Ham and then you bake it? that was one of the first notes that I thought of the first time I tasted this.
This is well, I mean, from the taste. I mean, go back to the nose. The nose, you get the ethanol. For me, there's not much in the nose other than ethanol. But you go to that first sip, I feel heavy vanilla.
Yeah, there's a little vanilla.
It's like a cookie cake. I mean, some kind of
super sweet, whatever
Yes.
it is a dessert. That was a healthy pour. Look at that.
Yeah. Tomorrow's gonna be fun.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Given how sweet this is,
Cookies. Yeah, cookies and cake. I would agree.
I wouldn't call it a
chocolatey.
country ham. I would call it something else.
Well, that's why I was,
I'm curious where they come up with the names. Again, you think it'd be a nod to a family member.
right, yeah. But it's a nod to a pastime of bookers.
Yeah.
I kind of get that. I keep thinking of that sweet outside of when you bake a ham. Mm-hmm.
The honey and the brown sugar.
Yeah, not the clove kind.
No,
one freaks me out a little bit.
Kind of like a honey baked.
Yes, a honey baked ham, a brown sugar rub, a ginger ale.
Yep.
I know that's one of the ways my wife likes to make it. Is she likes to put ginger ale and like rub that on the outside. But that sweetness and kind of candiness that you get off of that, yeah, I kind of get that.
You get the heat off of this, and then other than that, it is straight sweet.
Yeah, and it's funny because there's not. I think we've gotten some like cinnamon notes off it. I don't really get that.
I don't.
I don't get a lot of baking spice notes. I get a lot of baking sweet notes. So
The cookie cake.
cookies, brown sugar,
Vanilla.
yeah, a touch. Not strong. A little vanilla. That's good. I mean, it's just good. And I'm not getting blown out. The nose is much stronger on the ethanol than the taste is.
Yep.
So I'm not getting blown out on like a burn from that. I'm not even getting that much of a hug, which I really expected at 126.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting a strong hug. No, it's warm. It's not a hug. It's just warm. What would be interesting? I would love to see what a glaze of this on
A ham.
a ham would be like. That'd probably be delicious. A bourbon ham, I could really see being a very good.
Well, are you willing to?
No, I'm not willing to. Not at all. But there's a few cheaper bourbons that have a sweet, sweet note that could be a very good rub on a ham. I'm kind of thinking of a benchmark H&H blend of some sort over a ham. Would probably be pretty solid. It's good. It's solid. It's super, like for the heat that you would think comes off of it. It's super. It's actually really surprisingly light on the palate and tasty. It just doesn't blow out your taste buds at all. The nose is harsher, way harsher than the palate.
Way harsher.
I know we've done this. The presentation is amazing.
The
The box is great. The
Wax
informational card is just fun for whiskey dorks. 6 years, 4 months, and 2 days. Very specific. I that's just fun and enjoyable. But
I wonder when they go in the warehouse. They're already earmarked for this.
or is it in that experimental warehouse? I mean, the Boston batch was specifically to they have a annexed warehouse and distillery that they used. Booker used to just kind of do experimental batches in. Is that where they do all of this? I don't know. This is a tour I never thought I would be interested in, like going to do a bean tour.
I've been on the property. I unfortunately showed up on a Sunday, and they weren't open.
I think that would be. Beam's never been something that I've been overly interested in until I've found out all the different things that Beam does.
But this one, they are literally 3 miles off the highway.
Yeah,
It's you. Once you see the sign, get off,
and it's there.
take a right, and you're there. For us.
Whiskey Trail, baby.
Bourbon Trail. Tennessee's the Whiskey Trail.
You're right.
Kentucky's the Bourbon Trail.
All right. Yeah, I did it wrong. Sorry. I'm getting a little... Man, this is really weird. I'm going to say I'm starting to get a little bit more of the allspice that you get from a country. maybe a cinnamon to the brown sugar a little bit. It's not overpowering. The sweetness is the primary note and all the way through in this.
I took a pretty healthy sip there. No burn. Will feel warm. But now it's a lot of wood and some smoke.
Smoke?
Yeah.
Not tannin or like smoke?
More of the tannin.
Okay.
But it's strictly on the aftertaste. But a healthy sip there. Still no burn.
Okay. Yes, I do get a little bit more of the oak tannin and the char from the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get what you're saying. A lot of oak tannin. Actually, the bigger pull, that was a lot more oak tannin and a little of the dry out.
Yeah, it dries out.
That little bit of a dry out versus the first handful of sips. I took much smaller sips because I don't know. I assumed 126. I probably shouldn't be taking huge pulls. That's really different. That's interesting. You know, from a small pull, very sweet and warm. A bigger pull, it's a little less sweet. It's more barrel, oaky, tannin. That's interesting.
But still no burn. You think you'd take
no
more?
Burn. 126, no burn. On a cube, this has to be amazing. I don't know if I've ever done it on a cube, just because it's such a rare bottle. I want to taste it.
I mean, I've seen. Again, they're all done quarterly.
Yes.
There's still some out there. I'm trying to think. I just saw a couple the other day, and I already have one. I can't remember which one I have, so I didn't buy it. But there's still some floating around. Anything within the last year.
Yeah. Who was the smart person that bought 2 of every quarter and stored 1? Like that's a very smart person. I'm not that person.
This person's got connections.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, all of these I've just found on retail shelves.
But to be able to buy 2.
Yeah, I really do think the line that they come up with is interesting. I have to assume each one is a similar mash bill. I have to assume because it's coming from various rick houses. Like they just kind of have to do the same thing.
That's why I'm wondering if everything's already earmarked for that quarter.
I don't know. Yeah, that'd be interesting to understand how they.
Hey, this one here's the. 3.
I know this guy's going to go into a Booker release.
Yep.
Still really want to get a little book. I really want to see what the different, like how much amped up.
I've got a friend in town that was able to get one. He still has about this much left in the bottle. Might have to be a guest on the show for that one.
Okay, we can figure that out.
He will remain nameless, but he is offered for me to come over and sample it. But I might see if we can just do it on the show.
I really want to try it. I just want to see what the.
I'm very anxious.
There's
all the reviews I've
levels.
seen.
I mean, when you look at the levels of Jim Beam, Booker is up there, but then there's the one level up from Booker's is Little Book. I believe that's an annual release. I don't think it's a quarterly. Like once a year, they release Little Book, and Little Book is super hard to find.
And I was told, rumor is it's only released in Kentucky.
Okay.
I've never heard of anyone in our area in Nashville being able to get it. That's just the rumor I've read.
Yeah. And I'm sure if it's that limited, it's a once a year. You can't go nationwide with that. I mean, it's probably you just kind of have to limit the release of there. So I'd like to see, is it, like each one of these has had a different taste, a different note, and been very enjoyable. And I'd like to see, I really want
the master distillers take on the last.
They've done good.
Just the last 2 years.
Yeah. They've done good.
It would be interesting to hear their take on it.
Which one? Which one did they prefer?
Yeah.
Like which one did they bottle and go? Wow.
You can pick they could even just tell what their top 5 was, but it would just be interesting from the last 8 4 or 8 releases,
Yeah.
what's their favorite, and then go back. What's their
all-time
all
favorite
time
out of all of them? Yeah. That'd be an interesting. Man, we really got to do that tour.
Yeah, we'll add it. We'll add it to the list because there's a number of other tours we want to do as well. This has been a very tasty bottle. Again, given the proof, it's not. There's no burn, very little burn, very sweet.
Yeah. Yes.
But very, very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. This is a great little bottle right here.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. This is our second round with Booker's. Third. If you've got one that we haven't sampled, we'd love to hear your opinion, or even actually your opinion of any of the 3 that we've already done. But as always, if you enjoyed this episode, we encourage you to hit the like button at the bottom of the screen.
And if you could, subscribe to the channel. If you want, hit the bell icon to get notified every time that we put out a new episode. And leave a comment. We've got 4. So we do have the 1904 to sample as well. So we've got 4. If you've got some history with Booker's, what was your favorite? At some point, maybe we can get a master distiller to have a conversation with us. We'll see how that goes. But what's your favorite? What did you think of, have you had country ham? Have you had beaten biscuits? Or what is it, Grandma's batch or whatever it was called? And, is there anything of the recent batches that you've really liked, or have you had something years ago that really just
blew you away?
Love to hear it.
So, until the next episode, appreciate you joining, and we'll see you then.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Cheers.